This one thing is something that has changed my life the most out of anything I've done. And I do really think it's largely responsible to where I am right now, what I'm like doing, what I do. I don't want to make this like kind of bragging like, oh, look at me. But my life is pretty fucking sick. Like if I look at it objectively rather than subjectively, I get to do whatever I want when I want. I work for myself whenever I want. I can work anywhere in the world. If I want to go and fly to Thailand in 10 minutes, I could do it. My girlfriend isn't going to be happy, but I have decent financial resources. I live a very, very good life. I have all the freedom I could possibly want. And I think it comes down to this thing, like largely comes down to this thing. And hear me out before you turn this off and you're like, Mo, this is fucking stupid, this is fucking boring. That one thing is books. I literally think that books have completely changed my life. And I'm not someone that necessarily in school, like I never enjoyed reading. I wasn't one of these kids that was always like sitting down with like Harry Potter books or whatever the fuck like people used to do, like reading books. I never used to read. I'd rather play Minecraft or I'd rather play video games. And I would never actually be able to sit down and focus and concentrate on reading. And it isn't something that comes natural to me. So the fact that I read, I really have to fucking force myself to do it. And I only really realized how much of a good impact it had on my life when I stopped doing it. So I went for a phase of reading one book every single week. And I'm not a quick reader. That took me a lot of time. It was a lot of investment, but it taught me a lot of shit. Like I learned a lot from it. And it's only when I slowly started to drift away from that and slowly started to read less that I realized how much books can actually bring to someone's life and how much they can actually change the way that you think and turn your fucking life around. And there's something magical, right, that happens. And this is too often to be a coincidence. We have a lot of problems. Whatever your problems are, be it with business, be it with lack of direction, be it with lack of clarity, be it with like being sad, depression, not knowing where to go, not knowing what to do. We have a lot of problems that are often self-inflicted in our life as a result of our mind. Whenever I read and I have this problem, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, I'm worried. Every time if I sit down first thing with a book in the morning and I start to read, it will always answer the question to a problem that I have. And whether or not this is confirmation bias, or I think confirmation bias is the right word, where you're basically looking in things for something to confirm an answer to something. Whether or not it is that, it doesn't fucking matter because it solves my problems and puts me at ease. I honestly believe that picking up a book, I always get this mixed up. I think I'm retarded sometimes. Fiction versus non-fiction. Fiction is fake, isn't it? Picking up a non-fiction book on something that is that I'm interested in learning always gives me answers and it always gives me clarity. And the most important thing it does is it gives you fucking hope, bro. It gives you hope. It shows you that anything is possible and it gives you purpose. It gives you direction. So if you're feeling a bit lost, I'd literally say get up early in the morning, make the first thing you do, read a book. Like read some of a book. I'll explain a little bit more about how you can do it and how you can actually, like, if you've struggled to focus or struggle to do it kind of consistently, but make that the first thing that you do and it will make your life better. And like I think about this a lot, and think of Elon Musk, for example. You could take everything away from Elon Musk. Like you could literally take everything away from him, make him a homeless man. And I've no doubt that remove all of his connections, remove all of his money, remove everything that he has, or someone that is really, really industrious like this person, like a person that's like just fucking on it, you could take away everything from them. And within a year, they'll probably be a millionaire again and have an amazing life and have an amazing social circle. And they'll probably build this thing back up from square one. It's like the same circumstance on two different people is two completely different things. And that just comes down to your mindset and hope. It's like two people can be walking down the same street on the same grey and miserable day in the exact same place. One person can be super fucking happy and grateful with everything and like see the birds, like hear the birds chirping and see the birds chirping if they're on some heavy psychedelic drugs and they're seeing sounds. But no, you get the idea. It's like two people can be in the exact same place and have two completely different experiences of that place. And all that is due to your mind. And I really do believe that reading, it like gives you hope and it gives you clarity and it makes you take action. And if you read something about someone, you're like, holy fuck. Like, for example, Man's Search for Meaning, a book about a guy in a concentration camp who overcame the odds. And like, if you read something, you're like, holy fuck, if they can do it, so can I. And I think that's what like culture in England, especially, in a lot of other places, and like small town mentality lacks. It lacks that like you can fucking do anything. And it's books that give you that mindset of, yeah, I can fucking do everything, or anything. Other thing, I've literally got like 5 bullet points in front of me that I was thinking about as I was reading a book, is influence. You are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, whether you like it or not. Okay, this is why poor people stay poor. This is why rich people probably stay rich. This is why you're more likely to be fat if you've got fat friends. It is a scientific fact. A book called The Science of Self-Discipline goes about this. I spoke about this in the last little video that I did. You are more likely to be. You will absorb the traits of the people that you spend the most time with, or that you indulge in the most. And if you're not surrounded by people who are doing better than you, they're going to drag you down. Like financially, from a mindset point of view, from a reactivity point of view, from a happiness point of view. If you surround yourself with the richest, most happy people in the world, and suddenly like you were just in a town of people that were making millions of pounds a month, that were super fucking happy all the time, that were stoic, that were masculine, that were like had all these amazing like leadership like traits. If you're around that all the time, you would become like that. It's fucking inevitable. Like you are the 5 people, the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. To the point I'm trying to make is we can't always control that. Our family, our friends, quite often the people that in our current environment are on our current level. So if we want to elevate that thing without really going to the effort to look for these people that are that bring us up and kind of integrate into social circles that you can't necessarily do as easily straight away, you can get a free ticket, or for $5, you can get a ticket into the mind of some of the greatest authors and some of the greatest people in history that are completely inaccessible. Like you can read a biography on Elon Musk. You can read a book on Stoicism, Ryan Holiday, The Obstacle is the Way. You can literally surround yourself with some of the greatest, most successful minds in history from books and podcasts. So that's why I really believe that start your day by reading, because you're going to set the tone for the rest of the day. You're going to create good influence in your life if you haven't necessarily got that influence around you. And also doing things like listening to podcasts, for example, like I really like Chris Williamson, or if I'm just like want to listen to kind of an easy listen, Joe Rogan, depending on who has on. Like I fucking like Joe Rogan, Chris Williamson are like 2 main podcasts. I'm not gonna lie, I love that shit. But this is the reason that I'm sat here speaking to you right now, because like I believe it's so fucking impactful and I believe it's so powerful, and that's why I'm telling you about books. And I've started just to pick up a camera and just record this quick podcast. So even if one person listens to it and you give it a chance, like I honestly believe it can change your fucking life, lad. You can tell I've been living in Manchester, lad, a very northern thing. Other thing, right, is it teaches discipline. It teaches you to be disciplined in this modern day world where we have got phones, where we've got social media, where we've got things constantly stealing our attention, teaching us to like consume short form content. Like the majority of us can't even watch a long form video now. Like the fact that you're still here listening to this is probably a fucking miracle. 90% of people are gonna have dropped off because we want things now. We want that instant gratification, that dopamine hit. Social media companies have something called attention engineers, and they literally employ people to grab your attention, to play on these dopamine systems. How do you think a book compares to a phone in terms of gratification and in terms of the dopamine that it gives you? A book doesn't stand a fucking chance at all. And it's why a lot of people actually fail to read. They pick up a book, they start to read maybe 1 or 2 pages, and then something comes into your head, pops up into your head, and you're like, oh shit, I got to go on my phone. And then you start scrolling through social media, and then you get fucking nowhere with reading. So what reading does is, if you can do it, if you set yourself a goal, say a book every week or a book every 2 weeks or even a book every month, it teaches you long-term investment over short-term gratification. It teaches you to be disciplined, to be locked in, to actually do this thing, to focus on this thing that isn't necessarily fun and enjoyable without distraction. And by forcing yourself to be disciplined with this thing, you will build up discipline in other areas of your life. I've got ADHD. Like, I was diagnosed as a child with ADHD. I should probably get this seen to as an adult, but I'm an idiot man and I haven't. I will do it at some point. Remind me to do it. But I was diagnosed as a child with ADHD. So this can be like my biggest superpower, my biggest curse. If I get obsessed with something, I can just sit down for literal fucking hours and just obsess over this one thing. But equally, if I start picking up my phone and social media and having like a bad week or whatever, and I start the day with this, I will just end up scrolling for fucking hours. And like, I'm drawn to these dopaminergic things. I find that when I get into the habit of making the first thing that I do every single day reading, by not having my phone next to me, by banning myself from social media, by not going on it. The only thing I use my phone for in the morning is listening to a podcast, not a podcast, well, listening to a podcast if I go for a walk, listening to a music as I read, because I find it locks me in. So I listen to classical music. I got a playlist on Spotify called Let Go. I've got another one I started adding to recently called Driving Meditations, but it's all like non-verbal, kind of ambient, like it just locks you in. If I make the first thing that I do reading, even when I don't want to, if I ignore those impulses that tell me I want to pick up my phone, I want to go on social media, I want to stop doing this thing, and if I set myself a goal every day of how much I have to read, then I am teaching myself long-term gratification and teaching myself discipline. And that is going to leech off into all aspects of my life, with work, with business, with fitness, with dieting, with health. I'm going to be more disciplined overall, literally just from reading a fucking book, boys. Now, like, I set myself a goal this year, or this is something that I'm doing now. I say this year, I'm going to try and do this forever, of reading 2 books, reading 1 book every 2 weeks. Like I said, I used to read a book every week, but it took loads of time. I say this so much because I love to brag about it, because I'm so proud of myself for reading a book a week. Like, I never would have thought I'd be able to do that. Like, literally never. I'm a super slow reader. I actually started off reading, I had to use like a reading aid, like a bit of paper underneath each sentence so I could read properly, because my eyes would go everywhere and I'd struggle to make sense of the words. So like, even if you have to start doing that, just do whatever you have to do to make it fucking work. But the way to kind of stay disciplined and stay locked in with this and not get distracted is set a goal with your reading. So my goal this year is I am going to read a minimum of 24 books this year, which is 2 books a week. 2 books every, 1 book, fucking hell. 1 book every 2 weeks. What I do is I've got a strict deadline for this. I'm writing down every single book that I'm reading. I actually share these books on my email list. So go to mo-samuels.com if you want to jump on my email list, where I share stuff about books, fitness, what I'm reading, etc., etc. Don't put www. because I haven't actually set up the domain properly, so that won't go to any page. Just put mosamuels.com into your browser and that'll come up. But anyway, so what I do, the way that I do this is like, you want to set a goal. You want to be goal orientated with this, because that's the way that it's going to work. So I get a book, I look at the total number of pages in the book, and then I divide those number of pages by 14. I divide it by 14 because I want to read 1 book every 2 weeks. There's 14 days in 2 weeks. So that will give me the number of how many pages I have to read per day in order to reach that goal. So with the current book that I'm reading, it's called the Perennial Seller by Ryan Holiday, or Perennial Marketer. It's really, really fucking good. Probably one of the best books I've read so far. Definitely in I'd say top 20 for sure. I've read hundreds of books. But for the current book that I'm reading, that means that every day I have to read 16 pages of that book in order for me to stay on track. Now, if I don't stay on track in a day, it's going to build up. And very quickly, I will have like 50, 60, like 70. It hasn't actually got that bad, but I'll have a lot of pages to read in the day. So because I'm locked into this goal, that means I'll have to spend literally 2 hours reading when I slip up to catch up on that thing. And it's effectively punishing myself for not being disciplined every single day. So read every single day, do it first thing in the morning, set a goal with your reading, write that goal down, make that goal measurable, make that goal something that you can track as well, and like have kind of like a deadline for the end point of that goal. So obviously it's halfway through the year. If you want to start doing this now, you can say, until like you can set a goal and work out how many books you have to read to get to the end of the year. I want to read 6 books or 4 books or whatever it is, 1 book every 2 weeks. If you're a slow reader, then you can read, let's say, 1 book every month. But I would say really push yourself and challenge yourself, because it is that pushing that makes it better. But yeah, man, that's kind of it. Like I believe that books are a really, really positive influence on like you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. They are a really good influence on that in terms of making the average people around you great. Same with podcast. It teaches you discipline, teaches you to be locked in, long-term investment over short-term gratification, and it gives you hope. It shows you that anything is fucking possible when we're in this very cynical world, or if you're surrounded by cynical people, like that kind of like anyone, you can do fucking anything attitude. And yeah, boys and girls, that was it. Little 10-minute talk on 15-minute talk on reading and why I love fucking books and why I think you should read as well. Even if you find it difficult or find it hard, like even if you're a slow reader, you will get better. It's like anything, practice makes perfect. Start reading using a reading aid, using a guide if you have to, and just invest in it every single day, inch by inch, bit by bit. You will get better. And yeah, someone listening to this, your life will change because of this. And when it does, you message me and say, thank you, Mo. But anyway, people, have a great day. Remember, if you want to get involved with my email list, you can go to mo-samuels.com, and I won't try and sell you shit constantly. Like maybe 1 out of 100 emails or so, I'll try and sell you something. But majority of stuff on there is just insights from books, quick bits, like thoughts from the day. I do a weekend workout as well, so recipes, my training plan, give everything away for free, all that shit. So yeah, have a great day anyway. Lots of love. Peace out. Bye.